I climbed into the airplane on the first day of flight training, and I was faced with my challenge: how to buckle up the seatbelt. As I sat there thinking this through, it reminded me of a challenge on the elementary school playground, learning how to tie my shoelaces. And unlike all the other children on the playground, I had to keep both feet out of my shoe, and I took the laces over, through, and pulled to tighten. One bunny ear, over, through, and pull to tighten. However, when I looked at the shoe, I realized I couldn't fit my foot back in because it was too tight. So I decided to untie the laces, this time loosen the laces enough so I could slip my feet back in. With the laces loose, I could then create the bunny ear over, through, and pull to tighten. With it loose enough so I could actually slip my foot inside the shoe. The most important thing I learned from that was how to think outside the shoe. And as I sat there in the airplane remembering that, I immediately stood up on the seat, took the components to this 4-point harness, fastened them together, went to each individual strap, loosened it. There was a shoulder strap on the left, a shoulder strap on the right, and a lap belt weaved through the 2 shoulder straps, so I loosened them and slipped into the seat belt. Put the strap over my left shoulder, tighten that with my right foot, strap over my right shoulder, tighten that with my left foot, pull the lap belt snugly in place. Yet this was only the beginning of the challenges of flight training. Over the course of 2 years, in 2 different states, 2 different airplanes, the difficulties of safely reaching the controls with my feet prevented me from moving on to the next stage, solo flight. I went a solid year without flight training, and I felt everyone had already given up on me. It was a very low moment. But it was also the moment that I realized that if I wanted this badly enough, I would find a way. After all, my life is about finding a way. I remember wanting a TV. I was moving out of my parents' house in college into an apartment, and my roommates and I could not afford to get a TV. So I went home to my mom, and I asked her if it'd be okay if I borrowed one of the TVs at the house, just until my roommates and I could afford to get our own. And she said, sure, just go home, check with your dad. And I went over to the next room to check with my dad. My mom was actually at work at the time. And I asked my dad, would that be okay? And he looked at me straight in the eye and he said, I don't know about that. So my next challenge was figuring out how to move a 22-inch TV/VCR out of my parents' house, and most importantly, without my dad knowing. I knew that about 6:30 in the evening, he'd walk out the front door to water the plants. That would give me a 30-minute window. And just as he walked out the front door, I ran over to the TV. I went behind, unplugged all the cords with my feet, and I came around front, and I realized I needed something to help me move this TV. I scrambled through the house. I was looking for something with wheels, something that could help me. And sure enough, I came across the computer chair. And the computer chair had wheels, so it was perfect. And I remember pushing this over to the TV stand, coming around front, standing on one leg. I reached my right leg around the big box TV, and I pulled it off that stand onto the computer chair, and then I realized the TV was actually bigger than the chair. If I were to stand back, it would come crashing down. So I stayed hovered over the TV, my chin holding it in place, my feet and my knees pushing this computer chair through the TV room, through the kitchen, somehow managed to make it down a step, finally one last room, turned the door knob with my left foot, opened the door to the garage, managed to push the computer chair with the TV on it through that doorway into that hot 110-degree garage in Tucson, Arizona. And all I needed to do now, I was so close, I just had to hit that garage door button. I reached my left foot up, hit the garage door button, and guess who was standing right beside my car? My dad took one look at me. He saw the sweat pouring down my face, the strain, the conviction in my eyes, and he said, "Honey, if I would have known you wanted it that bad, I would have helped you." And he helped me. Surely, if I was able to move a TV that day, I would find a way to become a pilot. After all, I wanted that pilot certification more than I wanted that TV. And once I declared that I would find a way, only 1 month later, I was sitting in a different airplane, a different state, and at a different airport than my previous attempts. Finally, I was in an airplane that I could safely reach the controls with my feet. Shortly thereafter, I soloed in that airplane. 5 months after that, I earned my pilot certification, becoming the first pilot to fly an airplane with her feet. I tell audiences all over the world, innovation starts with declaring, "I will find a way," and remembering to think outside the shoe. Thank you.